You think you've tried everything, don't you? You've smiled, you've flirted, you've done the perfect things that are supposed to make him chase you. But here's the brutal truth. None of it is working, is it? You're not getting the attention you want, and every time you think you've figured it out, it slips away. That's because you've been doing it all wrong. You've been fighting against your own natural power, trying to fit into a mold that was never meant for you. All this time, you've been playing by rules that don't even apply to your unique energy. The truth is, there's one thing, just one thing, that will change everything: mastering the art of emotional self-sufficiency. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to use this skill to make him want you forever. There's a strange thing that happens when you stop needing someone. The very second you let go of that desperate energy, the attraction changes. But let's get this straight. It's not about playing games or pretending to not care. This isn't about pretending you're fine when you're falling apart. It's about finding the deepest truth in yourself, knowing you're whole without anyone else filling the gaps. That's what makes a man want you more than anything else. You've probably been conditioned to think that love means clinging, chasing, trying to be the perfect partner. But let's go deeper. Imagine you're standing in a room with him. You're talking, but you're not scrambling for his attention. You don't need him to say the right things. You don't need him to make you feel special. You are already whole, and this space you're sharing with him, it's just an extension of who you already are. He sees it in your eyes, feels it in your posture, the unshakable confidence that you don't need him to validate your worth. That is the one thing that will make him obsessed. It isn't the perfect date night or the seductive whisper in his ear. It's the realization that you are a woman who is complete on her own. But here's the catch. Most women never give themselves that gift. They think they need to do more, be more, in order to get what they want. But the more you chase, the more you push him away. It's counterintuitive, but it's reality. You need to detach from the outcome. You need to stop trying to make him choose you and start choosing yourself first. You may be wondering, how do I do that? It starts by realizing your own value. When you stop tying your self-worth to his actions, everything shifts. You stop looking for signs of approval in his texts or phone calls. Your emotional state doesn't rise and fall with his attention. You become anchored in your own existence. But here's the part most women miss. They don't understand how powerful this detachment can be. It's not about coldness, it's about strength. Think about the people who have the most magnetic energy. They're not the ones running after approval. They're not desperate for affection. They radiate self-sufficiency, and people can feel it. It's almost like a signal that says, I'm okay with or without you, and that's what makes others want to be close to you. Now let's talk about the psychology behind this. You see, men aren't drawn to neediness. That's a mistake you've been making for so long. You think if you show him how much you care, he'll love you more. But what really happens is that you place yourself in a position of weakness. You're giving away your power. This isn't to say you shouldn't show affection or love, but there's a difference between love and desperation. Desperation is a form of emotional hunger. It's like you're coming to him with an empty cup hoping he will fill it. That's not love, that's dependence. And dependence is the opposite of attraction. Think about it. Do you find yourself more drawn to someone who needs you constantly, or to someone who has their own life, their own world, their own passions? Exactly. When you stop needing validation from him, you begin to trigger something much deeper inside him. You stop being someone to fix or save. Instead, you become someone who complements his life, someone whose energy aligns with his own. This doesn't mean you should be aloof or distant. It means you are solid in your own identity. You are comfortable in your own skin, and you don't need his approval to feel whole. But there's another layer to this. When you stop needing him emotionally, you also stop putting yourself in a position where you're vulnerable to rejection. That's right. When you don't need him to stay, you stop fearing that he will leave. That emotional freedom is magnetic. It's the freedom to love without the fear of loss. The freedom to be fully yourself without needing someone else to validate your worth. So how do you start this transformation? It begins with the inner work. It begins by changing the narrative you've been telling yourself about your own worth. Stop looking for external validation. It's not about getting him to want you forever. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need anyone to complete her. I want to take this even deeper. Let's talk about the archetype of the individuated woman in Jungian terms. This is the woman who has done the emotional work. She's faced her shadows, those hidden dark parts of herself, and embraced them. She's integrated both the masculine and feminine energies within her, creating a balance that makes her unstoppable. When you become this woman, the need to cling to someone else's validation fades. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. The energy shift is subtle but undeniable. People around you, including him, start to feel the power in your presence. The struggle to make him choose you fades because you no longer rely on his choice for your happiness. Your sense of fulfillment comes from within. This is the type of woman who naturally attracts and keeps a man's interest because she is centered, grounded, and whole. It's not about being perfect, it's about being authentic. When you embrace your full self, your power, your desires, your darkness, your light, you become a force that can't be ignored. But let me be clear, this takes work. It's not something that happens overnight. But if you're willing to look within, to challenge your old beliefs, to stop seeking outside validation, you will become the kind of woman who doesn't just get attention, she commands it. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what if he doesn't notice me? The real question you should be asking is, what if I don't notice myself? Because once you begin to notice your own value, others will follow suit. And the man who truly values you will notice, not because you're perfect, but because you've come into your own. You're no longer a shadow of yourself, seeking love from others. You're the full, radiant version of who you were meant to be, and that is what makes him want you forever. The truth is, you don't need him to need you. And once you embrace that, the power in your relationship will shift. You'll no longer be looking for his love because you'll already have your own. And that's when he'll start to truly see you, not as someone he can have when he wants, but as someone he can't live without. You see, you don't get him to want you forever by chasing him. You get him to want you forever by never needing him again.